Today, we're going to be talking about spectrum and next steps for spectrum auction renewal.
Last year, again, we saw the largest increase in mobile traffic. So 36% increase from the year before, nearly double the amount just 2 years prior. We expect to see that grow 3 times over again by 2029. Simply put, we need more spectrum to keep up with that traffic growth.
82% of mobile traffic is offloaded onto Wi-Fi. You want to get gigabit speeds into your home, but you don't want to plug into an Ethernet cord? Wi-Fi. We're focusing on how consumers are using spectrum, and that is why a recent report came out saying that unlicensed spectrum would contribute $1.3 trillion to the GDP.
Budget reconciliation is a terrible way to fashion good spectrum policy. A reconciliation act is driven entirely by tax cuts and short-term revenue needs.
Dictating a specific pipeline and a timeline for achieving those objectives and expecting certain revenues from that action, you are pushing those agencies in a particular direction and eliminating their ability to rethink how spectrum could be managed.
Simply put, we need more spectrum to keep up with that traffic growth. If we don't get more spectrum, we risk networks growing increasingly congested, threatening material degradation in performance. We're not asking for perfect equipoise here, but we're clearly very unbalanced today.
We're putting in 10 gigabit speeds into your home, but if you don't have Wi-Fi that's able to handle those speeds, you're not going to get that benefit as a consumer. Think about your private backyard versus a public park. We can't really compare. Obviously, the public park is bigger, but it's used by everyone versus your private yards.
We've got to stop looking at this as a zero-sum game and instead start leveraging the capabilities that we've developed to find a way to enable everybody to get access to the spectrum that they need.
It's telling the DoD and our allies are already able to operate the same radars that are being studied in Lower 3 in dozens of countries around the world where 5G is already deployed in this band, right? We should be able to make the same accommodations, whatever DoD is doing to accommodate in those other countries.
I think where it gets controversial is when you start demanding that they legislate specific bands or a certain amount of spectrum, and that's where it starts to get concerning for the stakeholders that are currently occupying those said bands. DoD was operating in that band from 3.4 to 3.5. They were compressed to the lower 3 gigahertz. Now people are asking them to compress again. At some point, they cannot continue to compress. At some point, there will be no place for them to relocate to.
If Congress remains deadlocked, in part because the members of the Armed Services Committees are saying we need more facts, we need to understand how this impacts national security, that it's better to have those answers than to stop everything.
Let's not have any words around clearing in this legislation. I don't think we should be mandating that's how the spectrum should be put to use. Repurposing, sharing, those kinds of words I think are more helpful to this discussion and will enable us to start coming up with solutions faster than this ongoing debate.
I think Congress will land on the policy that raises the most money and causes the least amount of drama.